Got a video blog for you guys, man. This comes from, maybe a couple hundred people, man, in the last 3 months. In one form or another. Want to know about the meal count, man. What is the meal count? How many meals a day do we need to achieve our goal? I can't answer that question for you guys until you tell me what your goal is. Once your goal is determined, then you can find out what is required to achieve that goal. It's about being smart, guys. Society would say breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's 3 meals a day. Why are they saying that? Because economically, they want the restaurants to have the money at nighttime. They want the IHOPs and the Waffle House to have it at breakfast time, saying you need a good meal to start your day and everything else. Why? Selling money. Selling money, guys. You don't need that. Why? Because you haven't created demand for that supply. Calories don't know anything else. Calories come to your body like, chill. Hey, I got some energy for you. You need it? If you don't need it, I'm going to store myself in a gut for you. Basic fundamental principles of supply versus demand. That's your meal count, guys. And that's all it is. There's nothing else more to it. You guys must think outside the box. Start developing a brain for once. Stop going through life like just going with everyone says the way it is, like you're just a herd of cattle just going into slaughter, man. Be smarter than that. Stop watching the news and just, that must be the truth, and okay, I'll just take that story and that's what it is, and instead of changing the channel, hearing another perspective of it. There could be different ideologies. Interesting. Let me research it. Create my own opinion, my own thesis on it. Now we're somebody of respect. Somebody that cannot just say, well, I don't like that. We see these guys all the time. What do you think of this? I don't like it. Why don't you like it? Just don't like it. Yeah? Get the fuck out. The person I want to talk to is, what I do like about it is this. What I kind of differ about is this. And I think if you implied this, it might make it even better. Wow. Now there's somebody with a fucking brain. Somebody done some back research. Knows why, one, they don't like it, presents an issue, and then presents a solution. That's my kind of man. I like that guy. I want to get to know him more. Why is our body any different? Our body is a case study. There's no third-party subjective nature that can change your opinion last minute, like a chick who randomly says, hey, what do you want for Valentine's Day? Oh, nothing, I'm good. You don't get her anything, what the fuck? Well, you said you didn't want anything. Well, you believe that? Well, it's not that confusing, guys. It's real simple. We are a case study. You take what we learn, what we read, what we study, what people tell us. We apply it to ourselves in an honest effort to find out if it is down the path of our success, what our goal is. You don't see a marathon runner gloating about how much he can bench press. Opposite directions, man. A healthy breakfast is great. If you're getting up in the morning and doing something, then your body needs that energy, those calories. Otherwise, the calories will just store themselves as fat. It's a basic fundamental principle, guys. Supply versus demand. That's all it is. The demand, guys, is in the gym. We go in the gym and we tear it apart. We don't grow in the gym, guys. We just create the demand for a body to grow, the need for it to grow. It grows outside the gym with the rest and the nutrition. And if we can combine them at the same time, unbelievable results. Our efforts are matched, 110% of our efforts are matched down our goal, what we're looking for. That's a smart guy. That's somebody going somewhere in life. He's not just listening to the most bodybuilder magazine saying, 5 or 6 meals. Oh, 5 or 6 meals, why? Because it increases your metabolism. Yeah, it does. Why is that? It's like your metabolism is a garbage disposal, guys. The more food you throw down there, the more times you got to turn the thing on. So of course your metabolism will go up the more times you throw shit down there. And as your body, as you turn the garbage disposal on, you have to use electricity to run that motherfucker, right? Well, that's your body using calories to burn off that food. Oh, good, burning calories. Keep the metabolism high. At what cost, though, guys? We're keeping our metabolism high at the cost of tremendous amount of calories coming in. And unless we're using those calories, the differential is this much calories. And if we're not using those calories turn sideways, called a belly, a gut, what we don't fucking want. Wake up. Create the demand in the gym. And then match it with the supply of nutrition. The muscle is a dry sponge after a gym. A happy muscle is a moist sponge. Why did I bring that up, guys? I've used this metaphor before, but it's so key. It's so easy to understand it this way. A sponge, the purpose of a sponge is to soak water up. Responsive nature is absorption. That's what it wants to do. When it's saturated and you pick the thing up and it's dripping water, it's not absorbing shit, is it? That's you just eating food all day long. Your muscles don't need anymore. So what happens? Those calories and food, everything else, whether it's good food, bad food, it's stored as fat. That's how the body works. The body isn't looking to grow muscles or anything else, it's looking to survive. Purpose of the body is survival. So the more food I can get, the more body fat I can get, the more excess storage I'll have in the time I need it. That's what the body's thinking. After the gym, you burned off all that muscle glycogen. You've ripped the body, the muscle apart. It doesn't have anything left. It's a dry sponge. What's a dry sponge? They're responsive. They're responsive to absorption. No matter what you pour on a dry sponge, it will suck it up. And the more times you go to the gym, the more time you practice, the more times you listen to the body, you know how much to pour on it to make it saturated without being too saturated where spillage comes out. That spillage, we don't need those calories. There's no demand for those calories. So those calories get stored as body fat. Over the years, over the months, over the weeks, whatever it is, you start to develop what the supply to demand is. What that ratio is. That's your meal count, guys. When your body needs the calories, the demand it exists, then we supply it with the nutritional value. I'll get into that more, but that's a basic concept. When I bought my house a couple years ago, guys, I used to own a landscaping business back in the high school. I used to love cutting lawns, the smell of the grass, the final product, a couple hours on the lawn, you see that par 3 fairway, light and dark strips. You see a smile on the customer's face. Man, it's pumped me up, man. I love that. It's just like a little bit of effort, boom, look at the result. Life isn't as easy as that, but I just love cutting grass. So when I got out here to LA and I finally bought this house, couldn't wait to get a lawnmower, man. It's like Christmas for me, man. And so I went to Home Depot. And, when I had that business, Toro was what I wanted. Toro. That's the name I trusted. That's the name I worked with over the years. I wanted Toro. They didn't have Toro there. They got, Ryobi and, they got John Deere. And so I grabbed that Home Depot guy. I go, man, where's a Toro at? He goes, we don't have a Toro, man. But the second best thing will be this John Deere. And if you buy 5 of them, I'll give you a discount. I got the fuck I need 5 for, man. He goes, oh, well, I thought you were, you were starting a business or something. Because the perception here in LA, where, everyone's got a personal assistant and a maid and a landscaper, no one does their own fucking hard work, no one does a manual labor. So this guy just assumes I'm just going to, I'm starting a business. I need 5 of them. Well, I said, I just need the 1. Thanks, man. I appreciate it, though. So I got the 1, and why 5? Well, 5 would have been great if I was cutting a bunch of lawns, right? Or if I was starting a business. But I wasn't. I just had my own lawn. Therefore, I only needed 1. So the demand was for 1, the supply was for 1. That sounds real simple, doesn't it? It is that simple with the body, guys. We're coming up on the holiday season right now, we're not? It's like mid-October right now. We got, Christmas and Hanukkah and people buying gifts for people and stuff and birthdays, whatever, coming up, I don't know anybody that's bought their shopping list already here in October. No one goes out in February and buys their gift. That doesn't make any sense. Why? Because they don't know who to buy for 1, or what they might want that person. Imagine me back in February, right? And this is a fictitious story. I'm just making this shit up. But let's say I'm dating a girl named Sally, right? And my best friend's John, So I'm thinking, well, Sally just bought, a dog. One of those little whippersnappers, those like 2-pound bullshit dogs that have no purpose. First of all, I don't date those kind of women anyway. But let's just say she bought one of those things, these little rugrats, and let's just say that dog's name is, I don't know, Pudding or some pathetic name like that. So she's got a little Pudding, right? Sally. And, my buddy John, he's a player. He's always going out and he's, always telling me about how he's laying this girl, laying that girl, which really means he ain't laying shit because people that talk about it aren't doing it. But, in the effort for, say, practice, I'm thinking back in February, I'm going to get John, a bunch of condoms of different colors, make it spicy, the French tickler, and have some fun with John, And then for Sally, the girl I really like, you know what, I'm going to get Pudding a little sweater, for that dog, because it get cold, in the winter time. I get a little sweater for Pudding. I get it stitched in there, You know, I love pudding, but not as much as you. You know, something romantic that the girls love. You know, so I'm like, yeah, February, good to go. Good to go, man. Christmas shopping's done. Demand was met with supply. I can forget about that. I can cruise right through the holiday season without having to shop. Step ahead of the game, right? Bullshit. Because what I didn't know back in February is that the pudding got run over by the fucking UPS truck. You know? And so when she gets this gift, you know, of a sweater for pudding for the dead fucking dog, she thinks I'm an inconsiderate asshole. So much so that she starts crying. I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't know. And she fucking slaps me. And then she says, you know what? You're an asshole. So much, you know what? I'm fucking John, by the way, too. With the condoms you gave him. And I got his baby. Because those condoms didn't fucking work. I mean, you understand where I'm going with this, guys? Is that you have to have the demand before the supply. You can't reverse that motherfucker. Same thing with your body, guys. You must create the demand and then supply it with supply. Rest and nutrition. That's growth. That's the winning combination. Listen to your body. Know what to put in, what not to put in. But really, it's timing that matters, not the nutrition. After the gym, when that sponge is just, you know, just dry and it's dying for saturation, right? What do you put in there? You put sugar in there? You put, you know, like simple sugars? Or do you put complex carbohydrates? Complex carbohydrates are the right ones, right? They're the good carbs, right? So everyone knows that's the good carbs. Well, if we think outside the box, stop listening to everybody and do our own research, we'll realize there's a time for good carbs and a time not for good carbs. Right after the gym, when demand is needed, we need it right away. It's a 45-minute window, guys. And it's not what we put in our mouth and chew and swallow. That's not 45 minutes. It's what goes into our stomach, digested, and then put to the muscle of the targeted region, dying for the supply. Because the demand's there in the bicep, not in the stomach. So the nutritional value has to get to the bicep within 45 minutes. That's smart training. So therefore, we don't do complex carbohydrates because they have fiber in them. It takes longer to digest. So it takes longer for our body metabolism to break it down, burning more calories. Oh, we're burning calories, well that's great. No, the purpose right now is to get the material to the muscle. So we want simple sugars, a quick fix. And we don't want the body to digest shit. We want all liquid. Fast absorption, fast to the muscles. Now we're thinking, you guys see where I'm going at? It's not about 5 or 6 meals like these bodybuilders are saying because it increases your metabolism. It's when your body needs it. And when your body needs it, that's when you supply it. When you match that up, guys, you won't have the excess calories. That sponge will always stay saturated without spillage. The gifts you buy will be received with a smile instead of a slap to the face. You know, at the end of the day, if your goal is to gain weight, right? Or your goal is to lose weight, or your goal is, you know, athletic performance, all 3 different goals create different type of calories. It's a calorie war, guys. It's not a meal war. What I'm saying is that if you take, there's a calorie video blog I did on how many calories you take if you want to gain weight or lose weight. Look at that. Break it down with numbers and the charts and everything else. Find out how many calories you need. Whether you eat all those calories in one sitting or you split it up in 8 sittings, it doesn't matter. It's the amount of calories coming in. A calorie surplus, meaning eating more calories than your body needs, will gain weight. A calorie deficit, eating less calories than your body needs, will lose weight. That's all there is. Whether you eat them, you know, 5 or 6 meals or 1 meal or 20 meals, it's still the same amount of calories coming in one period, 24-hour day. That will gain the weight or lose the weight, whatever your goal is. That's the simple math. That's a basic supply versus demand. Economics 101. Let's get a little PhD level. Let's go a little further than that. Let's break our meals up into activities of when the demand is needed. In the morning, the demand's needed. Usually people get up and they get going. We're burning calories. We need calories in the body. How much? Not as much as right after the gym, but we still need some. That's one crucial period. Let's say we get up in the morning, go for a run. Right after that run, boom. Or before the run, it has some energy. So we're putting in what the body needs, and our body's using it without any excess. That's growth. That's good. That's smart. That's thinking. Right after the gym's another great time. Right to the gym, boom. You know, body's in need, boom. I load it up then. Right when I go to sleep, if I'm looking to gain weight, I'm going to put some more calories in then, in the form of proteins. The micronutrient that takes the longest to digest also builds all the fucking actin myosin tears, the healthy micro tears, into a larger muscle mass. That's a smart time to take it if I want to gain the weight. Oh, but what if I want to lose weight? Well, that meal's cut out. Because I want my body to be burning off the excess fat for energy, not the carbohydrates or whatever the protein or everything I'm putting into it. So that would be a deficit diet to a surplus diet. Look at your day, guys. Your day would depict how many meals you need. If you're a guy that hits the gym in the morning and the evening, and you're a construction worker throughout the day, your meals are probably around 7 or 8 meals because your body needs it. But if you're a guy that just works out, in the evening, right, every other day, and sits at a desk in a cubicle from 9 to 5, nothing wrong with that. But that's not the same meal count as a guy who goes to work as a construction worker, doing physical activity. Do you guys understand what I'm talking about? Another metaphor. When I go to the store to buy toilet paper, I buy, 4 at a time, maybe 8, but I'm not buying, the Sam's Club, Commie Plus, 15 motherfucker, just, loading up all the, storage space in the bathroom, in case of, a blowout. I buy it in the terms of which I need it. I don't go to I don't go to the store and buy 15 gallons of milk. Because the shit expires and it goes in the trash and it's wasted. The problem with that in our body is that we throw the milk away. Our body doesn't throw it away. It stores a motherfucker. Stop listening to what everyone says, 5 or 6 meals, guys. It's dependent on what your activities are. My day, I like to go to the gym in the morning and the evening. Throughout the day, I'm running around doing whatever. I'm also at a state right now where I have maintenance. I'm not transforming. There's another difference, guys. Think about what you're doing, but sometimes I'm doing a shoot for a magazine that I need to put on some size. Very easy now. It's a clean canvas. It's a clean test study. I know what my body's doing. I know what the demand is. I increase the workload. I increase the supply of nutrition. That matches up to growth, size, change. For that shoot, depending on what it is. Shooting a movie, you put on 20 pounds, you got 3 months, no problem, I can do that. Shooting a movie where I gotta lose weight, I gotta drop down 30 pounds inside this time, I can do that. It's simple, guys. It's building a house at that point. If you know how to lay one brick, then it doesn't matter if the house is 4 stories or 1 story. You can make it happen, given the time. You have the time. But if you're stupid about it, the house will never get built because you don't have the education on how to make the time efficient. And that efficiency of time is directly correlated in growth of the body of a demand to a supply. And there's nothing else. The most crucial time, guys, is right after the workout. It's a 45-minute window where the body's just screaming for it, That sponge is so dry right there. Whatever you put in there, it's going to suck it up. Whether you're pouring shit on that sponge or good stuff, the body's going to turn it into fuel. If you read all these magazines out there and all this stuff, they're always saying about eat good stuff, eat this stuff, eat that stuff. There's a time to eat bad too, guys. Because eating bad is a quick release that our body might need on immediate demand. Marry those motherfuckers into what you want. In the morning, complex carbohydrates are better. Slow release energy. You have the same carbs, same calorie count of carbs, 4 calories per gram, complex. Metabolism going there, it's going to burn more calories breaking that down because there's fiber and it takes longer to break down. Burning calories, still have a slow release energy. That's a win. That makes sense. That makes sense. But if my morning is started off by going to the gym, it doesn't make sense. So in the morning, so in one scenario, it's good to eat oatmeal. Another scenario, it's probably good to eat sugar cereal. Because I'm going right to the gym. I need that energy right away. I can't have my body digesting this shit once I'm going to the gym. Because when I go to the gym and start pumping, and that food's still trying to digest, the priorities change within the body, so now the body's going to stop digesting and go to the muscle to fuel the muscle with oxygen and everything else. What happens to undigested food in our stomach? Oh, we get stomach cramps. Stops our workout. Oh my God. So by eating something that I thought was right from the magazine just caused a stomach cramp and it caused my workout to not reach maximum potential. You add those days up of coming up short, you'll give up. Being smart from the beginning, up here, will create whatever the fuck you want here. Hope that makes sense, guys. You know, I eat a meal a day just because of my schedule, really, of what I'm doing. I'm also in a maintenance phase, different. Somebody trying to grow, somebody trying to lose weight. Different meal counts depending on your schedule. Find your goal. The next step, find your schedule of when you're working out. The times when the body is most exerted. That's your meals right there. There's no breakfast, lunch, and fucking dinner. First meal is post-workout. Second meal is, midday of construction. Third meal is post-second workout. Fourth meal trying to gain weight right before bed. That's 4-meal day. That's how it works, guys. You find your goal, you find your schedule, you know how many meals to take. And you also know when those meals are taken with what nutrition. If your body needs it, it's more liquid than solid. Meaning if your body needs it right away. If you're just going through a prolonged period, like a sprinter to a marathon runner, different energy needs. One needs to prolong the energy. Make sure that you have energy at the end of the race as well as the beginning of the race. A sprinter, boom, need it now. Smart guys. You grow up here, everything comes together. You're dumb up here, forget about it. You're gonna be a servant of the world, man. You're part of society, man. You're that cattle going to the slaughterhouse, wondering what happened as your head's about to get chopped off. Wondering why Sally doesn't like that sweater, for whatever the fucking name was, pudding, But no wonder she doesn't like it, Great Plitt. Help me stay fit, man.